More than 60% of the population in Ghana lives off the land, and every second person has less than $1 per day to live on. If you want to help and make a change here, you can't wait for the people to come to you. You have to go to them, far away from the big cities, to a structurally unsound and underdeveloped region. 3 years ago, SOS Children's Villages began with a new idea in Ghana to offer even more support to families and children outside the children's villages. The families should be empowered, and poverty should be fought at its origins. Elizabeth Aye represents the family strengthening programs for SOS Children's Villages. 6 project regions are in the area surrounding Tema, in which 86 families and over 250 children are cared for.
The main idea behind this is to empower families or families in the communities to enable them to take care of orphans and destitute children who are in the communities. Yeah, and we do so by getting in touch with the community leaders, that is the chiefs and other people, opinion leaders in the community, who have knowledge of these orphans or destitutes who are in the community and have been, or let's say, have the tendency that these children will be abandoned if we do not go in to strengthen the family base.
The support here only works through direct contact with the people and also with the corresponding chiefs, who are like village elders watching over everything and who still have a lot of influence in Ghana. In Africa, family is highly valued, and it is understood that people will take care of their relatives' children when necessary. But this social network is not the same everywhere, especially if the need is too heavy a weight for families to carry, and no one is there to help, because there is simply nothing left to give. Those who suffer the most are almost always the children.
Sometimes parents, especially the men, become irresponsible. So they have very large families they are not able to take care of. And then they end up abandoning the wife and then the children somewhere nobody ever knows.
Women with small children who are left to their own devices are often unable to work to feed their families. All too often, children are abandoned and end up on the street. There are many reasons that lead to child neglect.
Sometimes we end up having families where they are orphan households. We have households where we have adults who are terminally ill, and for that matter, will not be able to take care of the children some time to come. Example, when we have HIV parents in the home, there's a risk that from some time to come, the kids might end up on the streets if the parents are no more. And you know, with HIV, people do not really want to take on the children when the parents die out of that. Yeah, but then we try to go into the community, we try to educate the people in the community, and then make them to understand the need that these kids should be taken care of in spite of whatever situation they find themselves in.
Elizabeth knows the families and the women in the village. She is there to listen. That is why people talk about their difficulties, and no one here likes to do that. Many are so disappointed by their lives. Only those who come here over a long period of time and often are graced with their trust. Through this sustainable and persistent approach, the SOS Children's Villages have been able to build a bridge of communication and thereby a foundation for long-term and effective assistance.
Oh, she don't get harm. I'm a wami a piano, especially no leaning by fan and one make a wow. Yes, I won't be home. How do you feel? Abraham can say what in now, not more feel. She don't get harm. Education and training are the central focal points of the family strengthening programs.
The SOS Children's Villages help the women of Gebetsele to build their own economic structures. For instance, in selling their own harvest at the market in the neighboring town of Accra. Bit for bit, this effort has made the village community more independent. The linchpin of the family strengthening programs and the basis for all the work done is the SOS Children's Village itself. Through the various educational and professional development programs here in Tema, as well as the schools themselves, the people here enjoy a normal connection to the surrounding communities. With its infrastructure and well-developed relationships, the Children's Village remains the foundation for coming closer to the people and their issues. It's a concept about which the national director of the SOS Children's Villages in Ghana is completely convinced.
Family strengthening program is preventive. And I believe the saying that prevention is better than cure is very, very relevant. And going into the community to prevent child abandonment is a wonderful thing that SOS has introduced, and we shall continue to do it. That's a major change that has come. The other changes that SOS envisaging will be the investment that we'll be making in the human resource, who are taking care of the children, who will be going into the communities. I'm expecting a huge change in this area.
The local workers are the key to the family strengthening program's success. The consistent review process is also important to see if the programs are working. Elizabeth is visiting Ajua Asuntwa, a single mother whom SOS has supported for well over a year. Elizabeth takes thorough notes of every progress made and what the young woman's needs are. Whoever seeks support from SOS has to take action and cooperate too. The assistance provided is not meant to be a long-term thing, but rather a way to help in time of need. If everything goes well here, the Children's Village's support may no longer be needed. Emergency assistance in building a foundation for an autonomous life, an ideal scenario for any family strengthening program. For Elizabeth and her colleagues, there is one thing that always counts first and foremost, and that is the well-being of the children.
I have the love for children, and sometimes it burdens my heart if I see kids who do not get any kind of support. There's nobody to go in to stand in for them. And I feel in my own small way, this is what I can also do to support these children who are out there. That is why I'm doing what I'm doing today.
The family strengthening programs have yielded great things in the last few years. They have helped many families and their children. With a long-term vision, SOS Children's Villages stand on the side of those in need, to give children a home, even outside the protective framework of the Children's Villages. It's a new approach, maybe even a little revolutionary, and to many, a life-saving chance.
Oh